Hey everyone, this is Wei and welcome back. Let's do another movie character, and this time we're gonna draw Thor. Let's get started and I'll talk about the process along the way. Alright, so let's draw this Thor, and I'm gonna try to get some of the body too, so probably the head's gonna be a little bit smaller. Let's just say somewhere around there. Yeah, it's gonna be relatively small because I want to sketch in the body. It's got some really cool armor. So this is just like a really rough estimate. Just to give me like a general idea of the head shape, and then I'll just start from there. And let's just roughen the eyes, getting the slant. It's kind of small. I hope you can see this. All right, it probably won't look that much like him because it's kind of small. But let's just see how far I can get. I'm just gonna start with his face. So very simple, almost like just blotting, certain areas. Not too much detail. And I'm using a 6B, so I can actually get quite a bit of shading just by using the strokes. And so this is it's a good way to to draw a face when it's this size, because you really can't. Unless you want to go in with a really sharp and hard pencil, you could, get a little bit more lightness. But actually, I think the softer pencils work really well for even this size because it allows you to be a little bit bolder. The strokes a little bit bolder. Okay, so that will be his face. That's kind of like his general features. It's got a very manly feature. It looks a pretty good Thor actually. But too bad they don't show his helmet on most of the time, Helmet's kind of cool, but alright, let me see. I don't want to go too much because I want to sketch in some of the rest of the body. Alright, let's just go with this. We can mess with the hair later. Okay, so that kind of gives you a good placement, and then we go from there. Let's go his neckline, going slanting this way. Then here is he's got this two things for his cape, so we can sketch that. So I'm just kind of measuring like from the bottom of his face. If I keep going down, you're gonna hit that. That's probably somewhere right here. So it's just measurements, right? Like if I go straight down from the side of his face, where does it hit the shield? And somewhere right here. So okay, so it's just it's the same kind of measurement no matter what you draw. It's just try to find the vertical and horizontal alignment, because those are the easiest. And then after that, you can check with the angles, and that one's a little bit harder, right? Because you gotta be able to read the angle too. So, but vertical and so like his cape, like how far does it go out? You can almost judge it by, let's say, it's almost the height of his head. Like from here to here is almost the height of his head. So if you kind of approximate it, it'll be probably somewhere right here like this. So it gives you like a rough idea. So that's how I was reading it. If you could find something else, that's fine too, so whatever you want to. But since I have the heads, I'm just going to use that. That's the reference. All right, so let's go straight down. Let's see. He's got a lot of little cool stuff going on with his armor, which could be a cool thing, but it could be also a very daunting thing. All right, so let's go straight down. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff. I might have to do his arm first, just to get some more. All right, let's do his arm. Let's see right here. I'm seeing that. See that little armor piece that goes over. It's kind of like this underneath the cape. Let me show this. Let me move this in screen. He's got very thick arms, almost the size of his head, the width of his head. Okay, and then he's got his forearm coming down. Just keeping in mind the slant is going back into his body this way. It's coming toward you, but it's kind of going this way. All right, so now we can continue on. Let's do the little more circle things right here. That would be kind of a good placement. Let's see, should be right around, yeah, probably around here. So you can kind of measure like, you know, the circle thing is right around his elbow. So I probably either have I probably have his little elbow a little bit too low, so it should be right there. Okay. All right, so we can go, some more stuff going on in here. Might be a little hard to see, it's kind of black. But we don't have to draw everything that we see in there. It's just, you know, maybe just some more of the important features. Okay, let's see, and then he's got a big flap. So I'm gonna try to concentrate on the bigger areas first. He's got this big flap coming down. And it goes down right around to his wrist is. So it's like this, and then there's another circle right here. And then let's see, this one goes all the way to his thumb. So his thumb's probably right here. All right, let's go straight back up. I don't want to go down too far. Might not want to draw all that stuff on the bottom. Okay, so now that we got his torso, this looks a little bit too low. I might have gone down too much. Okay, but let's do his other arm. The arm's right here. So when you measure his other arm, like where does it begin? You know, I'm seeing like a line right here, like from this corner right here. You know, he's gonna start right here, or you can judge it from the plate right here, which is okay. So it's gonna be right around here. It's gonna come out, and if you go like how far, just imagine if you kind of rotate it, this distance right here is almost this distance. So it's kind of like this, right? So somewhere right here. Okay, so very you know, whatever you have drawn already, just try to use that. And you know, if you use this and then you draw it, you're like, hey, you know, it seems a little bit too long or too short, then probably you've drawn this a little bit too, you know, too long or too short. So it's kind of a way to double check almost every time you draw something new, and then you know you start looking at it and certain things might not be right, and then you just kind of double check, and then you find, you know, where the errors are. Okay, now here's this hand. It's a little tricky, but just try to match the fingers. And the grip is actually very important. You know, sometimes we'll just draw like a real simple fist and with all the fingers aligned, and usually that's not how it works. You know, when we grip something, there's actually, you know, the fingers are in very, very different positions, as you can see from this reference here. All right, so let's just draw his hammer. So his hammer, how high? That's about right. I mean, this is probably not as important. Okay, so this is, well, it's in perspective, but it's almost, there's only one way. Let's see. Yeah, it's kind of like that. It's still very two-dimensional, even though it's in perspective, just because of the angle. Okay, so I mean that's, so like little details right here you can probably skip because it's you know, it's not as important as you know, the bigger features. Because once you have the hammer, you know, this stuff is, you know, we can do it when we start shading the hammer. All right, so let's go back to the cape. Let's finish this one out. This one, 1, 2, and then this one folds out, and then probably thinking maybe we should draw his other hand. Okay, hands are a little bit harder. This one's coming toward you. Try to visualize the knuckles, so the knuckles are all here, and then we can just do 1, 2, 3. Even though I've drawn it like a glove, you know, there's separation between the fingers, but we don't have to put that right now. Okay. And we can sketch those little details in later. So his thumb right around here to this point, kind of curves a little bit, very important. You know, to get that hand gesture. Okay, so that gives you a nice reference. All right, let's go back to the top and start shading this, because I think we have, you know, a lot of features roughed in. All right, so I'm gonna stick with the 6B just because this is a lot more fun. All right, so now I'm gonna try to shade his face a little bit deeper. You know, let's push the values in a little bit more. Hopefully I can correct for the features at the same time. So his cheeks. So it's very minimal. I'm just trying to see the major shapes. You know, nothing too subtle right now. Like his cheekbones right here, very high. Some shading, and I'm just gonna hit that. And then his brow, keep going back to this eye because it's really dark actually. Keep drawing it a little bit too light. Okay, because it's got a little frown. Brow, obviously his head is gonna be a little bit taller. I drawn it a little bit too. But let's keep going. This is dark. This is dark. There's a line there. I mean a shade there, not a line, sorry. I want to keep lines away from faces or they become very flat. Okay, and then he's got a mustache. So mustaches are easy, you know, in a way it kind of hides the face a little bit, makes it into a bigger feature, so it's a little bit easier to draw. His lip. Let's draw his mustache. Now, just keep in mind, you know, the mustache, like anything else, is, you know, it's affected by the shading, you know, the light. So some areas will be darker and some will be lighter, you know. So try not to just do it all in one shade. I mean, you can do it all in one shade, but you got to make sure you got to go back and hit like certain areas like this. Like I know this one's a little bit darker right here. Yeah, that way it gives you a little bit more realism. Okay, this is dark. This is dark. This kind of looks like a caveman right here. I think it's because of the shading on his brow right here. It's kind of weird. I might have gone too dark. Okay, let's keep going. So right here, I'm gonna make it a little bit dark because there's actually a highlight here, and in order to bring that highlight, I kind of have to make this a little bit dark, right? Or else you won't see it much. Shading here. Eyes needs to be darker. Yeah, you know, these kind of small little shadings, it's tricky, but it's actually very good exercise because it forces you to kind of see it in a simpler form. You know, you can't overdo it. You know, there's not a lot of variation in it. I mean, variation in terms of your shading strokes. You know, the area is so small, you kind of have to force yourself to use the actual pencil strokes to do the shading. Okay, all right. So this comes out more. Let's see his ear. His ear starts up here from his eye and goes down right there because he's tucking his chin in a little bit. So his ear is gonna be a little bit higher like that. Okay, let's draw in some hair so it doesn't look so like a caveman. All right, this is a little too dark. I'm gonna get rid of it. Just gonna get rid of some of that. Let's do his hair. His hair goes around here. It goes up quite a bit. Just keep it simple for now. You know, we can. I don't know how much hair work you want to do. His other ears right here. Then it's got now this hair. It's got a lot of curls in it. I'm trying to keep the white, but this one might be a little bit difficult. So it's okay if I don't keep the whites as long as you got the flow. It's gonna look good. All right. There's something about his head shape is bothering me. I guess I should have sketched that in a little bit more before I start doing everything else. All right. So it was kind of warped, I think. Yeah. Now it looks a little bit better. All right. So his hair coming down. All right. Let's do the. So in here it's pretty dark. And all this hair is coming in. So Might want to skip that for now, just in case you want to put more detail in the hair. Alright, so I'm gonna outline this a little bit better. Okay, circular shapes. This cape on the back. I'll start shading this thing. This is dark. And it's got a plate right here. Let's see, coming straight down. It's got another indentation here, a two-piece thing. Oops, maybe a little bit too far down, but it's okay. And then there's another one here. So I'm just trying to hit the dark areas as I see it. I know it's a little bit hard to see just because his armor is kind of, you know, it's all black. But we'll just try to do what we can. Okay, so it's kind of like that, and then this part's darker on the bottom. Looks like there's another plating. So it's a lot of you know, plates over plates. So make sure you make this edge dark because that's gonna pop out this edge here. Looks like there's a little bit of curvature. Some shading here. There's a little bit of curvature. It curves down. So the reflection catches that. Okay, and then we can do, let's go back here. The cape will just give it a little bit of shade since it is red. Because if it was black and white, the red would actually become black. Alright, now this is metal. So we're just gonna give it some very simple, probably simplify the shading a little bit. Okay, so you see how just a couple of strokes like that, you can simulate that gradation and shine to it. Let's go back up here to this other cape. The other side of the cape. Let's give him some more hairs, another way up here. Okay, and then this is darker in here, so we can start shading this. And again, I'm kind of leaving this area a little bit lighter for now, just in case we want to do more hair. All right, so it might be a little bit tedious, you know, for this stuff. It's a little armor, so I'm gonna finish this with a speed drawing, so I can you know, stop talking and put my head over this hopefully a little bit more. Then I can finish it out and show you how it looks. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back, and here is my final drawing for this Thor character. So you can scroll down a little bit, not much going on down there. So pretty much everything was shown on screen, and you know, the way to draw this kind of stuff is try to simplify, you know, what you see, because we're drawing pretty small. So you can't really put in too much detail. So just kind of simplify things and just see it as chunks and just kind of block it in, you know, and try to get the correct shading. And just kind of go for it. Like if it's really dark, just kind of hit it. But try to keep your strokes a little bit shorter, like when you're shading, you know, just because if you make it too long, then it becomes a little bit flat, right? Because, you know, we're drawing something that is very big into something really small. So normally there's a lot of little variations in the shapes and the shadows. So try to keep it a little bit small so that you don't end up flattening out your drawing. So hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you do, please do give me a thumbs up, and I will see you next time.